Well, I've done it again. This is my third first-gen Camaro. Yep. Now, it's way better than the first one. Longtime viewers will know that I had one of these that was really rough. Really rough. Now, not past the point where you could fix it, because obviously we fixed it, but it was like 1,500 bucks, and you know, who can turn that down? I got a title for that car. A buddy built a motor years ago. I bought that from a friend of his who owned it, and then a turbo 350, and we swapped it from 6-cylinder motor mounts to V8, and then had a drive shaft made, and did all kinds of stuff. I put the front end together, and it was a mess. It was a mess. And you know, I got tired of it. I mean, you put so much time into something, you got tired of it because you couldn't drive it. My second car was a running and driving car, 350 Power Glide, very boring to drive. I had a good sounding small cam, and it was not as rusty, but it had an old paint job. It was starting to rust, like bubbles. It was bubbling out, and you pop them and it just had holes. I mean, everywhere. Fenders, doors, quarters, roof, trunk, around the windows, everywhere. I mean, it was a little crunchy, but not as rusty as the first car. Now I have Camaro number 3. This one is real solid. It has the typical rust on the lips here, but and a little hole in the floorboard over there, but it's not bad. It's really not. It's got a little by the dash there, but around the rear window and everything, it's clean. But let me tell you really what sold me on this car. Here's what we know. It's a 67. It's a factory RS. It's a factory V8. And I'm fairly certain it's a factory manual car just from everything I see. Well, someone put a Z28 badge on it. Oh, this car also has full factory gauges, which is really cool. It's got a factory tach. It's got the, what do we got here? Fuel gauge, volt gauge, oil pressure, temp gauge, and a clock down there. Console car too. These are 69 seats, ignore that. It was a white car, black interior, and someone put a 60, I ran the numbers earlier, I'm kind of stunned. It's like a 67 to 79 or 69 to 79, 350, either a 2 or 4 volt main. From the numbers I ran, not sure. It doesn't matter. It's seized. It's got some 76cc chambered heads, 194 valves, basically the best of the smog heads, basically junk, but it has a really desirable, for some people, classic winter's intake, which is worth some money. I'm going to sell that, probably. It's got long tube headers, but underneath it has, excuse me, I've already kind of dug into it a little bit because I'm so excited, but I want to give that knowledge to you the people. It has a Muncie 4-speed. It's an M21 close ratio, which is the second best Muncie you could buy. And it's a date-coded 69 transmission. It was made in December of 68, which made it technically a 69 transmission. And it has a steel scatter shield bell housing, like a I don't know, blowproof or whatever you want to call it. It's an aftermarket one, so it's got a custom drive shaft safety loop. It's got factory disc brakes. It's got a lot of cool things on it. So what we're gonna do is, like I said, I dug into it. This motor's junk, no doubt. It's seized. They had the hood off. It got rained in. It's junk, dead. It might not even be rebuildable. So instead of wasting any time on that, we're gonna take the 350, 305, whatever that is, out of that Blazer. We're gonna stick it in here. We're gonna keep the headers. We're gonna do a tunnel ram and leave the hood off, because that's what you do. This thing is gonna be really cool. And we're gonna start yanking this engine out and then do a general clean. We're not gonna go crazy. I just wanna get this thing driving. We're gonna put the engine in, reuse the clutch, master cylinder, brake lines, maybe calipers, and get it going. has a an older Holly of some kind that was just laying on it. It's a dual feed. There's the valve covers that came off of it. Anyways, distractions. Squirrel. Gonna get this thing pulled out, get that one pulled out, put it in here, and get a running and driving car real quick. All right, we're deep in this thing now. I'll show you the spark plugs first. They do not look good. Like I said, when I saw what's under the valve covers, I didn't even bother, and I'm glad because there is no shot that this thing would have ever ran again. I mean, it's just, I mean, you know, this, what else would you expect for sitting open to the elements for 30 years? And I just noticed this rocker has no nut on it. That's interesting. But I mean, the ports are full. Those lifters are definitely seized in the bore. Who knows what the bottom end looks like. The dipstick is full of gray goo. I mean, they are wrecked. So, honestly, I highly, highly, highly doubt that this engine is even rebuildable. But we'll pull the heads off at some point when we get it out. But basically, everything is off except for the bell housing bolts and the 2 motor mount bolts. And then we're gonna yank this puppy. All right, many hours later, it's ready to come out. Well, I'll show you what was such a nightmare when we get it out. Basically, it was the bell housing. Because it's not a normal, you know, GM bell housing, which you'll see. But we're just gonna rip it out. It's just gonna come right out, I think. Yep. Precisely as suspected. Except for the parts that are, you know, holding it. Slightly in the way. Oh yeah. Really, really fun. Really easy. Didn't fight at all. The Z-bar was what I was most afraid of, and it actually came apart unbelievably easy. So, yeah, that's neat. Yeah. It's gonna be really easy to get back in there. Those headers aren't gonna be in the way at all. It's just gonna fall right in place. I got the angle like perfect too. So while we're waiting on this to come out, kind of a cool story. This engine hoist here, my dad has had since he was a teenager, and it's been through a house fire and multiple moves. And finally, when I built the shop, I needed an engine hoist, so I went and snagged it from certain demise and put an old Harbor Freight cylinder on it and lubed everything, put 1 new bolt on it. She's ready to rip. She's pulled a lot of engines for me. Get a close-up of that bell housing. How many bolt holes there are. I couldn't even tell you how many holes there are. A lot. And they had probably 3 or 4 7/16 bolts, but all the rest of them were 5/16 Allen heads. And boy, was that a nightmare up against that firewall. So I'm gonna do the right thing and bash in the firewall and replace those with 7/16 bolts. And I had to make a sick custom tool. Look at that bad boy. Got a bend in it, saw it off the end. Really, really good. Car had this motor in it for who knows how long. And now it's finally relieved of its duty. We'll end up pulling the heads off of it and putting a scope in the oil pan, or maybe pulling the oil pan and seeing if it's a 2-bolt or a 4-bolt main. Yes. Tomorrow we steal the moon. No, not quite. We kill the K5 Blazer for its motor, and then it goes back in the car, and then we're doing muscle car things. It's gonna be awesome. Yeah, the clutch seemed to work when I pressed it to get the car off the trailer, and I think it'll be pretty good. I'm gonna clean it up and put it back in. Maybe get me an alignment tool or just eyeball it, but clutch is probably 30-40 years old. Probably 30-40 years old, and it'll be just fine. There's a weird backing plate like a Ford that goes behind everything, and then there's bolts that bolt the bell housing to the cover, and then some of them have nuts, and then some of the bolts, like the normal Chevy pattern, go through the bell housing, through this plate, and then screw into the block. Throwout bearing, a little sloppy. If we can get one easily, we'll replace it. But if not, it can just be what it be. Oh, we're making a list mentally. You need a master cylinder and brake hoses and a couple other small odds and ends. All right, we'll see you tomorrow. So when we pulled the spark plugs out of this side, I noticed one of the electrodes was destroyed. And I didn't catch this earlier, but this thing has dual valve springs, and this one, once you pull the rocker arm off, it is completely in pieces. So you know what that means. Drop the valve. Sure enough, pull the cylinder head off, valve is laying right there. There's part of the valve stem. She's donezo. I am so glad I didn't waste any effort in trying to get this thing running again or unstuck, because it's junk. As a matter of fact, it looks like that either that rod is bent or broke. That piston is sitting sideways. This is a really nothing special motor. I mean, it's got flat tops with valve reliefs, and I would say that those are probably some sort of stock original piston, but I'm not a small block Chevy guy, I don't really know. But like I said, mediocre heads. They got 194 valves. You can see right there, valve Delito cuh. Welcome back to night 2. It's almost like we were just doing this. You know, pull that one out, pull this one out, and tomorrow night we're gonna be putting this one in there. You know, just a lot of in and out. Well, 2 out, 1 in. You know. But the old Blazer has yeet its last paw. Ugh. I think it's solid bar that one. And this is very good. Fun fact while I'm pulling this out, I ran the numbers on the back of this block, and it's the exact same casting numbers that is the block that came out of the Camaro. So it's pretty funny. So we know that it's either a 2 or 4 bolt main. By the way, we did check that today. That motor was a 4 bolt main. So that's pretty neat. Not that that really even matters. I think it's personally pretty dumb how people ooh and ah over 4 bolt mains, or at least a lot of old people do. Because, I mean, when have you ever seen a main cap fail? You don't really need that. The rods and pistons is what you need to worry about. Don't know how high this thing goes and whether or not it's going to want to tip over, so we're going to find out the hard way. Blazer is extremely tall. Oh yeah, we don't need to pull the hood. Engine stand might start tipping soon. It's feeling like it's in that room. Oh, we're almost there. Oh yeah. I'm not sketchy. You're sketchy. Yes. Harvested. I'm really curious how similar the clutches are on an SM465 4-speed versus the Muncie. I don't think SM465 is the Muncie, but the Muncie and the Camaro. That's what I mean. That looks like the exact same clutch and flywheel, but you know, I don't know. I don't have a clue. Yeah, it's a 3970010 block. So I broke one intake bolt pulling the intake off because they did not silicone. Well, say that they poorly siliconed the water jackets, and it leaked over and got into the threads, and it was pretty rusty and it snapped right off. So we got to extract that, but otherwise it's mint. I'm going to show you what we picked up today. Tunnel ram. It's an old Lion tunnel ram. We also harvested a lot of stuff off of the Blazer. We got the battery, the fuel filter, the fuel pump, distributor, which probably won't work with a tunnel ram because of the way that it is. All the hoses. Then a friend of mine here in town hooked me up with probably a mystery cam. We think that this is the cam that came in this box, but we don't really know. But we do know that the cam and lifters are set here. We got some chrome tall valve covers, better rocker arms and push rods. Save the antifreeze out of the K5. So we're gonna be putting this thing back together with 98% used parts, and it's gonna be fantastic. Oh, and I did a new master cylinder and painted 95% of the engine bay. Got a few little things to touch up here and there. So tried to replace the throwout bearing, and it was wrong, and the new one won't be here for 2 days, so I'm not gonna wait on that. So we're gonna run the old one. But yeah, we'll be back tomorrow for some updates, or I don't know, sometime somewhere we'll be back for updates, but soon it will be running and driving. Welcome to night 3. Another late night out here, working on the Camaro. Got the Blazer engine all cleaned up, got some stuff swapped over, got it painted, restored, brand new. Used the timing cover off of the blown up motor. Used the timing set that was in this motor. It's a double roller. It's a Mexico block, so I don't know if it's a replacement engine or what. Not really sure on those, but probably is what came in it. It's in really good shape though. Used the new balancer that was on this motor that I put on in the Blazer. Same pulley for the front, the crank pulley. Got the Camaro motor mounts on, got the Z-bar linkage, or the Z-bar pivot ball on. I used the flywheel from the Blazer and the pressure plate from the Blazer, but used the clutch from the Camaro because it looks slightly better. That's pretty much it. Got it just cleaned up, and got the engine bay fully painted, and we're gonna go ahead and stab it in. And I don't know, see how far I get tonight. Missing a few things still, but we're gonna see what we can do. Welcome back to night 4, and the engine is in the car. Everything's pretty much buttoned up. All it technically needs to run is a fuel line sitting over there, hooked to the suction side, a fuel can, and a hot wire ran to the points ignition. Everything else is done. We're about to try the starter, see if that works. Funny thing about the starter, I pulled the one off the Blazer because, well, I mean, had to, but this car did not have a starter. No idea what kind of starter it takes, but it was 10 o'clock at night when I needed a starter. I'm like, dang, I really want this thing running tonight. The goal was to have it running last night. It wasn't even close. It's gonna be running tonight, hopefully. So I needed a starter. None of my friends had one, couldn't get one. Then I sat here and sat in my chair, and I realized this bad boy's sitting here, and it's got a Vortec 4.3, and you know what that means? Mini Vortec starter. Same thing as the 350. So should be the same 168 tooth. I think it's 168 tooth flywheel. So we're gonna find out. Well, flex plate flywheel, same but different. So anyways, I got my hot wire right here. I got a strip actually real quick, and we're gonna see if it almost just tried to start itself. Nice springy wire. Anyways, ADHD. So we're gonna strip that wire, see if it cranks over. All right, moment of truth. I believe it's in neutral. Dead battery. Sweet. Just the Blazer style. All right, so I'm gonna throw this fuel line on, put my jump box on it, and stick that in a can of gas, and this thing should fire up. It's gonna fire up immediately. Oh yeah.
perfection.